Take off the way you've been thinking about it. Take off the story you've been telling yourself. I can't stay where I am, like I am. Do the new you. When you feel stuck and paralyzed and discouraged, you have to learn to do the new you. The one God knew, the one that people don't always see. That's who I'm gonna be one day when. And God's like, that's who you already are. That's who you always were. That's what I created you to be. Imagine yourself free. God knows that you. Imagine yourself whole. God knows that you. You haven't even met your best self yet.
Ooh, you haven't even met your best self yet. Can we welcome to Becoming Unstoppable, Stephen Furtick! Woo! Stephen! We're going crazy for you. Look at that.
Oh, it's a party in here.
There are 260,000 people live with you and me right now. And first of all, you do very few things. And for you to be here live with us is such a blessing. It is such a gift. Thank you so much. I know you're on a sold-out stadium tour right now, literally every single day. I think it's Taylor
Well, I was going to say, I know I look
you.
like I'm broadcasting from a closet. We're in the tour bus. We're in Columbus, Ohio, so...
You're in your tour bus right now?
Yeah, but I had to be a part of this, Jamie. This is amazing. The book is amazing. Worthy is amazing. The message, what you're doing today. Thank you for including me.
So grateful to include you. And let me just right off the top say congratulations now for another New York Times bestselling book that you have out called Do the New You, which I'm so excited about. And I want to ask you, a lot of people here today are here to embark on a self-worth journey. And you say it's time to do the new you, not just to do you, but to do the new you, the unique and powerful person you were created to be. So Stephen Furtick, how do we do that?
Okay, so first of all, put the phrase in the chat just to get it really right in front of you. Do the new you. And let me first of all explain what I think is the problem with doing you, just doing you, which is kind of something you say to people almost like, okay, well, I would never wear that, but do you? If you want to wear it, wear it. It's fine. And I think the problem when you say that on a larger scale, do you, or even the phrase that we have, just live your truth. Of course, I believe in living your truth, but sometimes what you call your truth is actually a trap because it's not the truth about you. It's just the you have experienced so far. And so then we take an experience and we let it become a belief and we call it a truth. And then we become limited in the version of ourself we've experienced so far. And then we say, well, I'm just doing me. This is just who I am. This is just how I am. Okay. So that's a trap to say, I'm just doing me. This is all I am. This is all I'll ever be. This is how I've always been. That's just the way I am. If that means you're going to express yourself, your worthy self, the self that you truly are, then great. But for a lot of us, it's an excuse for us to stay stuck in the self that we've met. And I don't really believe that most of us have met our best selves yet. So now I want to bring up the second problem, Jamie, which is, okay, let's say you get out of the trap and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do the new me. But if by that you mean a future version of you that you're always chasing, then now you're going to get out of the trap and onto the treadmill where it's just like, okay, well, so now I've got my vision, I've got my dream, I've got my ideal self that's going to be out there somewhere. But as long as it's out there somewhere, then you're never really embracing what God has already put inside of you. And I'm coming at this from a pastoral perspective. I know we've got 250,000+ people joining us right now. So there are so many different beliefs represented. But I believe something very powerful from a Bible verse that I love in Jeremiah 1:5 and 6, Jamie, and I'd love to share it. God tells Jeremiah, before you were born, I knew you. Knew. I knew you. And when I began to understand that what God is calling me to be is not some future version of me that doesn't exist yet, that I have to strive for, but an actual version of me that he created, that I am becoming as I settle into what he spoke over my life, it changed my life. Because now I'm realizing that the me that I see glimpses of from time to time is the me that God has been familiar with all along. So just put this in the chat real quick. I don't have to chase it because I'm chosen. That will set you free. That is the truth. You know, your truth right now might be, well, I am absolutely stuck in this relationship, or I'm stuck being single, or I'm stuck in this addiction that I've tried 3 different times to get free from. Whatever it may be that you think you're stuck in, that's not the truth. That's just your experience. The truth will set you free. And the truth is, I believe you are chosen by God for a specific assignment, and that he put everything in you already that would ever be needed to accomplish the purpose that he's called you to accomplish. So that's the message that I'm out preaching and teaching, Jamie. And it's so resonant with me, what you wrote in Worthy, because I feel like we're preaching the same stuff. I feel like we're on the same wave.
I love it. Well, one of the things you say also is that you're not stuck unless you stop. You're not stuck unless you stop. Can you elaborate on that? Because a whole lot of people, you know, even just reading, you know, I'm in all Instagram and reading everyone's comments and chats, and then the chat on YouTube, and a lot of people feeling stuck. So explain, you're not stuck unless you stop.
Yeah, I want to explain it from my personal honesty, though, and my personal vulnerability, is that this message for me is something that I wrote to myself. Giving up on myself, or I heard the motivational quote one time, and maybe, Jamie, you can actually tell me who first said it, because I've never been able to trace the source, but I read, if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you argue for your limitations, that's just the way I am, that's just how I was taught, that's just how I was brought up, then you get to keep those limitations. But I actually want to put something behind that also. If you agree with God about your potential, you get to grow into it. If you agree with God about your potential, you get to grow into it. And stopping is a way of seeing yourself that just completely cuts off the fact that what if there is something inside of you that is so important? I believe this, Jamie. I don't know if everybody here believes this. In the chat, you can tell me I'm crazy if you want, but this is what I believe. I believe that when the enemy, like for me in my belief system, I believe that the devil, the enemy, recognizes what's valuable about you and comes against that to attack it. And the more significant your gift is, the greater the attack will be. So some of you that are feeling the most stuck, some of you that are feeling the greatest battles with insecurity, some of you are in a season of your life right now, and maybe you're going, why is all this happening to me at once? Why is everything falling apart on me? Why am I falling apart? Why am I always fighting this? Why is it always so hard for me? And you have taken that as a sign maybe that there's something wrong with you. I would actually flip it and say, it's a sign that God has put something so great inside of you. What is in you is so great, the enemy actually senses it, and he's doing everything that he can to stop you from growing into it. So for everybody who's been in a state of depression, discouragement, heavy anxiety, confusion, darkness, stumbling around, don't know what next step to take, you're taking that as a sign that it's over. I take it as a sign that there is something so amazing just ahead for you, that the enemy is doing everything he can to stop you from walking into it. So I want you to put this in the chat right now as a declaration of faith. I'm not stuck unless I stop. And Jamie, if I were preaching right now, I'd have everybody high five your neighbor and say, don't stop. Don't
All right.
stop.
Everyone from
Because
home right now,
what's in
say to
you is too
yourself, don't
significant.
stop. Yeah, say to yourself right
High
now,
five
don't
yourself.
stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. That's so good. The whole chat, I'm not stuck unless I stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. I'm not stuck unless I stop. Woo. Okay. So good. So good. I believe that. I have to tell you, even prepping for this event, this has been a year of work to pull this together. The things that have happened today with you, Stephen, with Oprah Live, Ellen Live, Robin Roberts, Tony, all of these people all coming in live.
Can you please just say my name in the same sentence as Oprah again, just for my ego's sake? I like that a lot.
With Oprah, with Ellen, it's been an amazing day. Oh my gosh, Maria Shriver, everybody, Robin Roberts, and we're like only halfway done. This is a day, but I have found exactly what you said, that sometimes when I feel like I'm in this space where I just know something's supposed to be so great, and then just something will come against it. You know what I mean? And it's just this like thing that goes back and forth, that energy. So thank you for sharing that. You know, right now, like I opened the day talking about how, you know, when you look at the data, 80% of women don't feel they're enough, and 73% of men feel inadequate and not enough. And for the person watching right now who doesn't feel they're enough, what do you say to that? And do you ever struggle with that?
Well, I don't feel like I am enough for everything that's coming in my life. Like in just a couple of hours, I'm going to go out and minister to thousands of people and share the message that's on my heart. And right now I'm talking with you, and it's intimidating. You know, honestly, they were like, hey, Jamie's almost ready for you to get on. She's finishing with Tony Robbins, and no pressure. You know, just follow that. It'd be great though. You'll be great. It would be impossible for me to not have moments where I feel like I'm not enough. But God gave me this phrase that I think might help you too, and I want you to put it in the chat. Just put this phrase, enough for now. Enough for now. I really love this one quote that says that, you know, God has promised us his strength for today and his hope for tomorrow, but he did not give you strength for tomorrow. He gave you strength for today. And so the idea that God gives us our daily bread, that really comforts me, because I realize that as I step in front of this camera in this hostage looking tour bus situation to speak to 250,000 people, that God is going to give me the exact words that I need to touch you where you are, because he cares about you. And he sees the situation that you've been worried about. He sees the situation that you've been crying about. He sees the wisdom that you need. And he lined all of this up for you today. And you had to be here. It was an appointment for you to be here to hear from all of the amazing speakers that Jamie has put together. You had to be here today because there's something that is being deposited in you today for what you don't know that you're going to face tomorrow. But the trick is that it becomes enough as you use it. So you never get in this situation where you say, well, I have enough to accomplish what I'm going to accomplish in the next month. No, I have enough to accomplish what is in front of me right now. And then when I'm in the next thing, I'll have enough for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But I only ever have to have enough for now. And when you project too far out, you know, you start thinking about, well, all these hypothetical situations, or what if this happens? God isn't going to give you enough for your what if. He's going to give you enough for what is. Enough for now. And I would wonder, a lot of us that are stressed about what we're going through, are we really stressed about what we're going through now? Or are we stressed about what we think we're going to go through next? So the idea that I am enough is foundational, but also that it is enough. Your gift is enough. Your wisdom is enough. Your experience is enough. And when it needs to be more, it will grow, but it's enough for now.
Woo! Drop a heart in the chat if you feel that. A lot of people nodding. I think you I feel like I'm seeing the weight lifting off of people as you say those words. That is big. That is really, really big. Thank you for sharing that. That is big. Can you tell us too, Stephen, about how our joy is our job? Our joy is our job.
Yeah, it's one of the 6 mindsets I put in my book. It was a realization. One time I played a game with the kids. I have 3 kids, and my wife Holly is, like just very much a better person than me in every way. But specifically, I was asking all of our kids, who's the happiest person you know? And none of them said me. And I was offended by that. But I began to realize that a lot of times in my life, I put the responsibility on other people to make me happy. Or I say things like, they put me in a bad mood. So the mindset that they put me in the bad mood, what did they do? Did they pick you up and carry you to a bad mood? How did they transport you into a bad mood? So I'm trying to get the message across, and I know this is a part of believing that you're enough and believing that you're worthy, is to own your emotions. And I really like the mantra, my joy is my job. If my joy comes from God, if my joy comes from being present in him and content in him, then the world can't take it away. Then inconvenience can't take it away. So I want you to put this in the chat. Just say, if the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. And that's the kind of joy we want you to walk in. Me and Jamie and all of these speakers, the kind of joy that trauma can't strip, because it didn't come from experience. It came from within. It came from God. The kind of joy that disappointment can't diminish, because it came from within. It came from God. And the moment that you own that responsibility, God begins to strengthen you from the inside out.
Woo! Okay, so I have to ask you this, because there are people who maybe have had an experience in their past where they felt like God showed up for them, and they felt like, but then they feel like it's been a whole long time since that's happened. There might be people that maybe have given up on their faith, and I have to tell you, I had the gift. There is a new song that just came out. Stephen, you know what I'm going to say. I was sitting.
We should sing it. We should duet it right here. Jamie Kern, drop a feature right now.
No, we should write a song about worthy is what we should do, because I'm telling you right now, that would be, this song though, first of all, if I sang, I would do it. I sang you happy birthday. You know how I cannot hit a key. It's on your.
I was so honored. No, it was perfect pitch.
I committed is what I did. I committed to singing. But I was sitting there at Elevation, and and this is just for anybody that who feels like they've had a miracle in the past, but it's been a whole lot of time has gone by since you've seen a miracle in your life. And I remember you talking about how if God told the sun when to rise, and it did, he will again. He will again, right? And if he told the sea where to split, and it did, he will again. Yeah. And the whole song is about miracle after miracle, and it's about having that faith that if something happened, if God showed up for you in the past, and maybe you feel like it's been a while, that it will happen again. Can you talk about the inspiration for that right now? Because that is, and I will say it with you if you want to do it. You know the words better than me, but it is so good. Every time, even coming out to this event, I sang that song. Because I'm like, I got to have that kind of faith, right? That like, if I'm here, he's going to show up for me, and this is going to be exactly what someone at home right now needs to hear in their life. And I just want to ask you this question, because I just have it. It's not even scripted, but I just have it in my heart that there's someone watching us right now that maybe, faith hasn't been part of their life for a while, and maybe they actually want it to be, maybe for the first time ever, or for the first time in a long time, and they kind of want to ignite that faith, and this song is just so powerful. Can you share just a little bit about the words? I'm going to pray YouTube doesn't stop us, because we can't air any music on it. So I'm going to pray that, but can you talk about that, Stephen, and just the inspiration behind it, and how if he did a miracle, he will again?
Yeah, and what we'll do, we'll make a little virtual choir here
Okay.
at the Worthy Live event. We'll have a 250,000 person virtual choir.
Let's do
So I
it.
just want you to put this in the chat. Say, He will again.
You will again.
He will again. And I want you to get that in your spirit and your heart, because you have seen God come through before. Sometimes you forget it because what you're focused on right now, what you're going through right now, has flooded you with so much fear, has flooded you with so much anxiety or shame because of the last mistake that you made. But we came today to get that shame off of you and remind you that He will again. And the song goes like this. It says, if He told the sun when to rise, and it did, He will again. In other words, if He gave you a new 24, that's a basketball illustration. In the NBA, the shot clock is 24 seconds. And when you get a rebound, back in the day when it was a 24-second shot clock, they would say, he gets a new 24. So just say it in the chat. I get a new 24. And isn't it amazing that we're in the year 2024 and that every new day, God's mercies are new over you. If He told the sun when to rise, and it did, He will again. And if He told the storm to be still, and it did, He will again. That's the refrain I want you to put in the chat. That's what I want you to start telling yourself when the voice is telling you you're unworthy. You can't come to God. You can't recover from that fall. You can't make a difference over there. You can't go back and apologize for that and expect them to forgive you. You can't believe boldly for the dream that's inside of you. If God brought you this far, you think He's about to leave you now? We serve a God of immeasurably more than we ask, think, or imagine. So say it again. He will again. And watch this. If He told the sea when to split, and it did, He will again. Put a wave hand emoji in the chat if you've ever seen God make a way for you. If you have ever seen God make a way and you know that He made it, nobody else could have done it but Him. It had to be Him. It could have only been Him. Nobody could have done it. It makes no sense. It defies all logic. It was against all odds, but God did that for you, and He will again. And if He told, I got more, Jamie. Can I keep going?
Let's go.
If He told the sun when to rise, and it did, He will again. And if He told the storm to be still, and it did, He will again. And if He told the sea when to split, and it did, He will again. And if He told the walls when to fall, and they did, He will again. And if He told the chains when to break, and they did, He will again. Put it in the chat. He will again. And if He told the bones come alive, and they did, He will again. And if He told the stone roll away,
and it did,
I hope I'm not preaching too much, Jamie. And it did, He will again. And if He told the grave, let him go, and it did, He will again. And again. And again. And again. And again. And again. And again. God is cooking something up for you right now that your eyes will not believe when you see it. He's got you.
Put your hands together for Stephen.
I'm gonna do it again.
Stephen, show some love for Pastor Stephen Furtick. Go Brad, do the new you. Thank you so much. You just made my entire day and what you just said, and I know we're over time. You should see everyone yelling at me back here. I'm like, I can't, because this is so true. And listen, when you see all the people I've had speak on the day, we're not all like-minded. We are like-hearted. There's people of all different faiths and beliefs, and that's what I love about everyone just coming together collectively. But what I know beyond a shadow of a doubt is that today, just today, 260,000 of us live. Today, Stephen Furtick showing up, Oprah Winfrey showing up, Ellen DeGeneres, Robin Roberts. I mean, you look at Maria Shriver, the whole collective, Ed Milet, everyone who's coming together today. There is no other way. There is no other way unless it was divinely orchestrated.